Director of the Rio Grande Valley Port of Brownsville. We hear now from William Dietrich. Mr. D, welcome back to the program. Got the new newsletter out there for the month of May. Let's start with one of the mentions deeper into the newsletter, the successful launch of a new ship.
It is a 472-foot vessel. It's the first Jones Act compliant vessel able to install wind turbine blades. It's the first one that is Jones Act compliant. At its peak, it employed about 1,200 people to build this piece of marvelous equipment.
Do we get another one here pretty soon? They've been very successful at the former Keppel Amples facility. And do we have another contract coming up pretty soon? Do you know?
Other contracts I don't know about, but I can tell you that they're gaining a lot of notoriety for their shipbuilding. Shipbuilding in Brownsville, it's here to stay, and it's one more asset that we have here at the Port of Brownsville to create jobs.
William Dietrich is our port director, Rio Grande Valley Port of Brownsville.
Regarding that newsletter, William, who's the first tenant there in the port's new business park? Talk about Westa and what role they'll play for the port and the area economy.
Yes, definitely. Westa, what a great company. They've come in. CoStep, we want to thank CoStep for all their efforts and what they've done for us, bringing us together. It's a flour milling. They're going to have flour silos. It's definitely going to be a state-of-the-art facility for flour milling and flour processing. They will be bringing a lot of the feedstock by way of barge, and they will be shipping it out by barge. So they're taking advantage of the maritime component and the proximity of our business park to the channel itself.
Where does it come in from? Where does it go out of or out to then?
Well, they're connected to worldwide markets, so it'll be non-free trade agreement countries along with free trade agreement countries. So it's pretty much open to wherever they want to ship to. So now where it's coming in from, we'll be getting product in from Mexico, and there'll be product coming in from the Mississippi, from the Plains area down to Brownsville.
Get an update on LNG. How far away would you say are we from Texas LNG announcing a final investment decision, and any headwinds potentially holding up that announcement?
Well, there's nothing really going to hold it up. I know that they had great news a couple weeks ago that they had a very significant off-taker, and as they complete their off-taking process, that essentially brings them closer to FID.
Getting half of the customers that they need, the commitments, in order to sell international. Do you know where those contracts come from? Is that overseas? Are we selling to the Europeans? Have they told you where those contracts coming from?
I believe they're coming from the European countries. I think the 1.2 million metric tons came from the European market, and there is still a lot of interest out there, especially since the rule came in December, slowing down the non-FTA and FTA permits from the Department of Energy. It definitely served as an opportunity for Texas LNG to be able to sell to others, to look at Texas LNG to fill their orders.
The first LNG project was $18.5 billion. This one is, what's the price tag on this one? $4 billion? The Texas LNG?
About $4 billion.
$4 billion. I know Mayor Cowan at the State of the City address was making reference to about 8,000 jobs that are coming to the area. That's pretty much all LNG. How about jobs that feed into that or from that, like support services for LNG, anything related to pipe or raw materials? Or are we looking at some of that setting up shop at the port here, maybe at the industrial port?
Yes, definitely. There is a surge of port tenants taking advantage of the mass amount of construction going on. A lot of the aggregate and a lot of the other materials that are needed to build such a big complex has to come in through the channel. So a lot of tenants are taking advantage of that and turning into suppliers for Texas LNG, or correction, right now, Rio Grande LNG, and later on, Texas LNG.
The 118-acre industrial park that you have there, of course, you made mention of that food processor that's going to be setting up shop. How much of that park would you say is already committed or likely committed? Because you know who's prospecting the area. Would you say a quarter of it, half of it? Or I know the phone's ringing for you.
Yeah, the phone's ringing quite a bit. And right now, secure commitment right now would be, the only one would be Westa. But we've got four other companies that are looking into wanting to establish some sort of a presence there at the building, at the business park. So we'd look at let's say about 33% right now is already being talked about right now.
There's still talk of maybe SpaceX providing more business at the port. Maybe I don't know, maybe even setting up shops. I know they need the port. Could use some of that barge traffic for some of their components, some of their equipment.
Well, SpaceX is we're getting ready to enter into a small lease, about a 2-acre lease with SpaceX, and that's for them to bring in their large modules that they're going to be using for their second launch pad. So anything that's going to be manufacturing based, not yet, but I do foresee in the future that SpaceX will take advantage of our proximity to them and establish something more permanent here.
The way they're going. And something that's off newsletter, Forza Steel update on the massive expansion and development of their 600 some odd 1,000 square foot facility there at the port. What's the latest on their expansion?
Well, Forza Steel is moving forward as usual, and they've just applied for their free trade zone permit. So that's one of the main components that they need to be successful here in the region. So
how does that help, William? I'm sorry. How does that free trade permit help them?
How it helps them is that anything within the free trade zone that is applicable is not taxed. So with that in mind, they take advantage of the free trade zone traits and the availability of non-tax. Anything
else we should mention right now? Tonnage? Any other industry interesting metric number that you're looking at as far as the Port of Brownsville traffic?
Well, right now, we finished up our numbers from 2023, and it shows that we did have a significant increase last year of over 1 million metric tons. So as we move forward, that's going to continue to go up. We hope so, and it appears to be a projection that we're going to continue increasing our tonnage as we move forward. So it's all good news right now.
Thanks for the time, William, and continued success. William Dietrich, our Port Director, Rio Grande Valley, Port of Brownsville.